Mayor Renner. Thank you for your kindness, your support, your friendship over the many years, and your extraordinary leadership here in the city of Bloomington. If only we had just a couple hundred more like you across the state of Illinois. I want to say something about when I first met Terry. I was teaching math back then. I was teaching at the University of Chicago. I don't know, strange background. There's no accounting for taste. And I was watching our country spin out of control as we rushed off to a war. We weren't being honest. And people were beginning to rise up and demonstrate in the streets and build movements to make social change. And I felt like I had to be a part of that. I started going door to door and block to block and neighborhood to neighborhood, working on organizing people to stand up together and create a more just society. In the course of doing that work, I got involved in a congressional campaign in the 11th District back in the year 2006. The congressional campaign was for a young man by the name of John Pavich running against Jerry Weller, and we helped him out a lot, but one thing people kept telling me as I was helping John was, John's a nice guy, but you really need to go listen to Terry Renner. You need to go listen to Terry Renner, who ran in this district last time. He will tell you what you need to know about this community. And so I called up Terry, total stranger, and I said, you don't know me, but my name is Daniel and I want to come to your house. Which is a very peculiar thing to say to a stranger, but Terry Renner is not any ordinary stranger, and he said, come on over. And I drove over, and we sat down, and my initial questions were about the mechanics of the campaign. Hey, Terry, would you mind giving me lists of people and phone numbers and the precinct level returns of where you did well and where you did badly and all that stuff? And I left that house 3 hours later, and I'd been given a lot of data, and I'd been given a lot of lists, but I'd mostly been given a lot of information about human beings, a lot of information about communities, a lot of information about what was already being done here in McLean County, where he was then on the county board, and what we needed to do together to improve the quality of life and lift people up across the county and across that congressional district and across the state. And I learned about what happens when you come out of academia and work with students and young people and empower them to take hold of life in their own community and use the democracy we have to lift people up everywhere. And I left that day knowing not just about a few numbers, but about what I was going to do with my life to organize people, empower people, and lift people up. And that day, in many respects, changed my life. And I want to say thank you, Terry, not just for your kindness and hospitality and answering a strange phone call and saying, come on over to my house, which maybe I shouldn't tell everyone in Bloomington that's what happens when they call you. But thank you for your approach, your progressive values, your vision about a government that succeeds by empowering people. That's what we need in Springfield now. Springfield, what do you say about Springfield? I don't even know anymore. We had a period of 2 years and 6 days with no budget. We have a budget now, but we went for 2 years and 6 days with no budget. Schools unsure if they were going to be able to open. Illinois State University, by the way, punished viciously. Young people who rely on tuition assistance from the state, unsure of whether they were going to be able to continue in school, and many who did not continue in school. Social service agencies shuttered. I was just over at the YWCA talking with folks there about the extraordinary service they provide to the people of McLean County, but also about the services they are simply no longer able to provide. The home care services for older adults, their efforts to make sure that they're providing crisis services for victims of sexual assault when the state is just walking away from its commitments to vulnerable people. And all the while, as this was going on, we were piling up $11 million of debt every day, and the state was about to be in junk bond status. So we passed a budget, and that's a lot better than nothing. But understand this, it's nowhere close to where we ought to be as a state. What we did was we took the bar and we lowered it, then we lowered it again, then we put it on the floor, and then we figured out a way to still trip over it as we were walking past it. This is not the budget the state of Illinois needs. This is not the investment in people the state of Illinois needs. What we need to do is to say, finally, for the first time after decades, we need to ask the richest people in our society, millionaires and billionaires who for generations for the main beneficiaries of our economic growth to finally pay their share. We shouldn't be the fourth or fifth most unfair tax state in the country. We should be the fairest tax state in the country. And then we shouldn't take that money that we'll get by finally asking billionaires to pay their share and just sit on it. We should use it to have not the most unfair system of school funding in the country, but the fairest system of school funding, equity for students across the state of Illinois. We need to raise wages in the state of Illinois so we have a robust middle class. We need to get the money out of politics in Illinois so that ordinary people can have their voices heard for a change. There are so many common sense things that we know we have to do, but here's the thing. You don't need me to tell you this. This isn't news. This isn't surprising. This isn't some, news flash of 2017. This is what we have known for decades. But we also haven't had the tools to get it done for decades. For decades, we haven't known what it would take. We haven't had the power needed to build a state government that works for the rest of us. We had a state government that worked for a few. We had the state government that worked for a couple big donors. We had a state government that worked for a few giant corporations. We didn't have a state government that worked for the rest of us. And the only way to build that state government is to build a movement of people across the state willing to stand together shoulder to shoulder and fight to take our government back. That's what we're going to do. That's what I'm here in Bloomington to discuss. That's what all of these extraordinary people, many, many, many friends, to be honest, a lot of new friends are here to stand with me to accomplish. If we learn one thing on November 8th, during that election, when Donald Trump was elected president, we learned that nobody is going to take care of it for us. The man who stood at the Republican convention and said, "I alone can fix it," is not the solution to our problems. In fact, no one person is the solution to our problems. No billionaire is the solution to our problems. No knight is going to ride in on a white horse. The cavalry isn't coming. We have to stand together and take control of our system. And this campaign is building a movement to do that. And if we get that right, we will be able to look back at this moment as a turning point for Illinois. A moment that we finally decided to build a government for the rest of us. We finally decided to build a tax system that works for the rest of us and invest in communities everywhere so there is educational and economic opportunity for the rest of us. That, my friends, is something worth fighting for. That is why I'm running for governor. Thank you very much.